having that blowing around won't be a pretty picture at all, Louise and Charlie.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere, Carol. You're staying here for the foreseeable future.
We're all going to be here for the weekend together.
We're not doomed at all, by the way.
Yes.
We're not.
Thanks, Carol. You wouldn't be doomed if you were stuck with us anyway.
8:20. What did you say? Doomed? Doomed to
Move
stay
on.
here. 8:21 is the time.
Today is the 30th anniversary of this programme. That's why Carol's here. It was first broadcast back in 1983. Since then, we've been live every morning in all sorts of places all over the world.
Graham is in one of those places. That's a pub in Smithfields Market in London. It's one of the few places you can have a pint while many of us are still tucking into toast and cereal. Graham, good morning to you. Why that particular location this morning?
Ah, Charlie, all will be revealed. I could be having a pint, but it's still a bit early for me this morning, so I'm having a coffee. We are turning the clock back this morning to 1983. 30 years ago, Breakfast Time first went on air today, and we've been seeing how the world has changed in the last 30 years.
1983. Leg warmers, Margaret Thatcher, and David Bowie at number 1.
Put on your red shoes and dance the blues.
It was a year of firsts. The first pound coin, the first wheel clampers, and the first breakfast TV.
It's the first edition of the first regular breakfast television programme in Europe.
Weather is toppling. Breakfast Time held a mirror to the world, which in 1983 included Cabbage Patch Dolls.
This is one of them. There she is. In America, people are going bananas.
It was a near riot. One woman broke her leg. One store official armed himself with a baseball bat.
Breakdancing.
It's just a matter of connecting it together.
Don't stop, that's lovely.
And new technology like the CD.
Well, let's give it the breakfast time test. Some honey, bit of coffee, give it a quick wipe down. Should be it. Let's see how it sounds.
Britain in 1983 was just coming out of recession.
The worst unemployment figures yet, close to 3.25 million.
The Austin Metro was the best-selling British car. And on Breakfast Time's first programme, a photo of Charles and Di skiing and a debate about press intrusion.
Now you've got their skiing picture, next time they go skiing, we needn't bother again, need we?
Princess Diana is probably the most newsworthy woman in the world.
So what did they think in 1983 the world would look like today?
That schoolboy dream, the wristwatch TV.
Some things haven't quite caught on.
The picture quality isn't that good.
It's a miniature inertial navigation system.
Others really have, although a bit better than this.
Feed that into the television screen.
In many ways, everything has changed since 1983.
You can expect the usual Monday morning tailbacks.
But you could say nothing has changed.
Traffic is building up northbound.
Today's headlines are still about press intrusion, unemployment, David Bowie.
Where are we now?
Finally, what did people think of Breakfast Time when it first started 30 years ago?
We've been filming some of you watching us.
Can I ask you, what do you think of the idea of breakfast television?
Marvellous. You can have a drink and watch the television and go back to bed when it's finished.
Well, it's brought the customers in this morning. We'll let you know when it's been on a couple of days and see if they're still interested in it then.
Always interesting looking back at pictures of the old days, isn't it, Lou?
Yes. What, have you got one of me? Oh, you little rascal!
Who's that?
Look at the glasses. I always had really good style, didn't I, Charlie?
What was going on there? Do you remember that one?
I do remember that, yes.
You're just about to settle down. Oh, look.
See, I started early.
Louise already had a healthy interest in news and current affairs. That's the caption for that one, isn't it?
Oh, dear.
Look at you.
Oh, I was wondering why you were giggling to yourself, cheeky Charlie.
It's one of those days, isn't it? Paul Lewis is here now. Should we have a picture of Paul? Here we are. Can we go in on that one? This is Paul Lewis. What was that job you were doing then, Paul?
It was an organisation called Youth Aid that worked for young unemployed people, and that was a big issue. There were, a million of them. There were 1 in 4 young people were out of work, and there was the youth training scheme, the YTS, which was very controversial. Was it slave labour, or was it real training?
Now, if you were watching 30 years ago today, this is what you would have seen.
Breakfast is 30 years old today. Although back then we were called Breakfast Time, we've been looking back this morning how times have changed since then.
Some things are familiar. We've still got a sofa.
Sofa, yes.
We've still got mugs and a clock. But for a trip down memory lane, we thought we'd like to recreate our original Breakfast Time clock between now and the end of the programme.
So
and we're
time
gonna do
now,
it.
8:37, 45, 46. You get the hang of it. There it is. It's popped up.
Oh, isn't that brilliant? That's going to stay with us for the next half an hour or so for our birthday celebration.
It's actually quite a good idea.
Should we have that clock? We won't be allowed it, will we?
Well, we'll ask the viewers, shall we? Or maybe we shouldn't. The time now, according to the clock there, is
Can you tell the time like that?
38.
Still to come on our birthday show this morning. We'll have a walk down Breakfast Memory Lane. We'll be celebrating our 30th anniversary with past and present sofa regulars.
The return of the Green Goddess, Diana Moran, feels the burn this morning. On breakfast, she's going to be barking out some instructions to some poor people outside somewhere.
Also, after 5 years playing Zainab Masood at the heart of some dramatic storylines in EastEnders, Nina Wadia will be here to tell us why she's returning to her comedy roots.
It is quite weird, actually.
It's cheery, isn't it?
We're all wafting back in time in Doctor Who style. Sally?
I had a bet with Charlie that EastEnders was older than us, but EastEnders is in fact younger. By a couple of years.
Do you know what? That clock is really scary. That reminds me of having to get ready for school.
Does it?
It reminds me of like rushing to get ready for school. Shall I talk about what was happening in the sport in 1983? Well, do you remember who was presenting sport back then?
Well, I know, because I can read it up there.
You cheated.
Well, let's be honest. It was David Icke.
Yes.
Yes.
Presenting the first sports bulletin in 1983. Shall I tell you what he was talking about? He was talking about England losing against Australia at the cricket, tennis too, Buster Mottram winning in the tennis. He also used to do a daily racing prediction. So in the style of David Icke, let me give you your racing prediction for today.
Come on, in the style. Come on, Sally.
I don't know what his style was, actually. I know he had a jumper on.
Are you doing these for real? I'm going to write them down.
This is in the 3:30 at Lingfield today. I've gone for No No Charlie, number 7.
Nice.
Why have you chosen that horse?
Oh, I can't imagine, can you?
Or I could have gone for in the 4 o'clock, Oh Dear, but I didn't.
No, well done.
Just pure guesswork, isn't it?
That was pure guesswork, yeah. Other racing predictions are available.
Yes.
Don't spend money on that, please. Shall I let you know what's actually happening
in today's sport?
Today.
Yeah.
A pretty nasty picture for some of us for tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Now, you see, you're almost standing on the retro clock.
You're standing on the clock, Carol. Careful.
Bye.
Don't be worried.
I can't see it.
Oh, thanks, Carol. See you later. Thank you very much. And as you say, good advice. Do keep watching the forecast as well.
Thanks, Carol. We're celebrating 30 years of breakfast this morning. We couldn't do that without speaking to the man behind the horoscopes.
Yes, Russell Grant will be speaking to Graham Satchell in a moment. And, of course, Bill and Susanna, they're just over there. They're going to be here as well. Here's a last look at what's happening where you are. See you in a minute.
Good morning and welcome to the news from the Northwest. That's it for now. We're back again at 1:30 with our lunch bulletin. Now back to the celebrations on Breakfast News.
This is very odd.
Welcome back.
Oh,
morning.
Give me a shock there, sneaking in like that.
What are you doing here?
Reading stuff.
It does feel weird, doesn't it? We've been joined by some familiar faces as we celebrate 30 years of breakfast. Morning, Bo.
Bill, it says here you've been on the programme longest.
Yes, Carol's been probably working on the programme a bit longer. I joined as a reporter 25 years ago.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and then I went away and then I came back. My first show on the sofa was in 2001 in the spring. But you know who's been here longest is Bernie Wingfield, who's in the gallery, who's been on started day one on Breakfast. 30 years he's worked on this programme. So we salute you, Bernie.
Congratulations,
That's
Bernie.
remarkable.
Well, none of us were here, apart from Bernie, for that very first day of Breakfast Time. But Tim Muffet has been looking through the archives and went back to the day that changed TV history.
It's 6:30, Monday, January the 17th, 1983. You're watching
News, sofas and sweaters. British television viewers had never seen anything like it.
There are cynics that some people hold the view that television in the morning is sort of decadent and sinful.
Oh, it is.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
The atmosphere just before we went on air was so tense. And I'd certainly never done. Very few people had done 2.5, 3 hours of television, largely unscripted. It was all anything could happen, mixing news and current affairs, quite heavy stuff, with really quite light and fluffy stuff.
As Nick Ross was telling you, letters and telegrams have been pouring into our offices here, wishing us luck with Breakfast Time.
Not just letters and telegrams, but video messages from breakfast shows the world over.
Hello, heartiest congratulations to BBC Breakfast Time from Hong Kong TVB's Good Morning Hong Kong show.
We wish you the very best and hope to see you go from strength to strength.
Upstairs.
Oh my giddy aunt!
Nobody was expecting much from us, which I think gave us the freedom to break the rules.
Breakfast Time was a hit. There was aerobics with the Green Goddess,
It's the bust and the chest all this week.
astrology with Russell Grant,
So Harry is born under the sign of Virgo.
plus pioneering viewer interaction.
Hello, David. Morning. Ah, you're there. Has it started raining yet with you?
No, not yet.
Oh, that's a bit of a blow.
But during the 80s, the tone changed. New desks, new presenters,
Good morning, it's 7 o'clock on Tuesday.
and a new, newsier edge.
But don't you have any respect for the fact he's clearly managing the economy?
And in 1989, a new name.
You're watching the first edition of the BBC Breakfast News.
The BBC had one of its periodic phases when it decided that it wanted a new image. It became Breakfast News with me and Jill Dando and Sally Magnuson and Kirsty Walk. And of course it was a time of great international change. The Berlin Wall had come down.
Hello and welcome to Breakfast from BBC News with Sophie Rayworth and Jeremy Bowen.
In 2000, Breakfast News became Breakfast.
There we go. Good luck.
And in January 2001, a familiar breakfast face made her debut.
Jordan and Sian Williams.
Breakfast is like no other programme, because 1 minute I'd be interviewing a Prime Minister and holding them to account.
To see we have a
about
unique
how
problem.
we pay it back
Well, we've
and the
announced how we'll
spending
do
cuts,
it.
because you said you're going to have spending cuts. And
Not
so
on
far,
frontline service.
and then the next day, you'd be talking to Harrison Ford. It'd be your co-presenter suddenly.
We'll take a look at the news, travel and weather, where you are.
In April last year, Breakfast moved to its new home.
We're glad you've joined us for our first morning from our new studio here in Salford.
And a concept once dismissed as decadent and sinful continues to thrive. Happy birthday, Breakfast Telly.
Back tomorrow at 6. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. How's this going to work first? Who's going to speak first?
I think it's got your name on it.
Me? OK.
Follow the script for once, Charlie.
All right. Some famous
You don't miss
faces
it,
have
do you?
sat on the various sofas over the years.
Yes, the faces and the hairstyles have changed a bit, but there's a lot about the feel of the show which we think is probably similar.
Yes, we don't do horoscopes or a daily fitness session anymore, although perhaps we should.
Well, except on special occasions, like today, because Breakfast Graham Satchell is in a place we featured on our very first show.
Morning.
Well, it's taken more than a couple of days to come back to the same pub. It's taken us 30 years, but here we are, and it's been totally transformed. And I'm delighted to say one of the original lineup from that very first programme, Breakfast Time, is with us this morning, Russell Grant. Morning to you, Russell. Lovely to see you.
Graham.
Now, take us back 30 years to that first programme. What was it like?
It was cold. It was Lime Grove, just outside of where the current broadcasting house is now, still in Shepherd's Bush. And I was there, walked in. We had a most wonderful boss called Ron Neal, who believed in the project and believed in all of us, because there was a lot of things going on behind the scenes where maybe there shouldn't be astrology on breakfast television. I was wearing something very similar to now, except it was more of a waistcoat, but as I walked in, this jumper appeared with stripes on, and they said, put that on, you're light entertainment. and my first guest was Sir Harry Seacombe, and it was just the most amazing feeling, but our nerves were really, really bad. By this time, I would have been past my second slot. Originally, I had a 7:30 and an 8:30 slot, but because of the controversy that there maybe should have been a God slot at 7:30, I was then just 8:30. Now, that caused its own problems, because people were catching buses to go to work, children were going to school, and they were missing buses to watch their stars. So that's the kind of impact it had in the end.
It was actually almost surprisingly popular, wasn't it? And do you think that the secret of its success in its early days was that it was, how can I put this, a family kind of show and aimed not at, I suppose, what you could say the normal, what the BBC might be expected to do? Can I put it that way?
That's right. I mean, I think many people thought we were going to be the Times of the air, but in fact the template was the Daily Mirror, and we were asked to be the Daily Mirror, which of course has got your astrology in there, and I don't know if it had exercises, but that was another thing that wasn't expected. Our wonderful Diana, who came on and did the Green Goddess slot. So there were all kinds of populist things that people would want to share. And, you know, we must remember there was no Twitter, there was no Facebook, there were no emails, and there were only 4 channels.
Yes.
And you had very, very little choice in those days. Is that a good thing? Who knows? Some people may say it was best to perhaps go back. And I had a slot which was called the Starlet of the Day, which was for birthdays. And people would literally write in sometimes 1,000 letters a day to become a starlet of the day.
Amazing. Now, we last saw you, I suppose, on TV in Strictly Come Dancing, and you had bust your knee. Are you all better? Is everything all right with you now?
I had an arthroscopy. I went into the Wizard of Oz at the London Palladium for Andrew Lloyd Webber. I had an arthroscopy, doing that tango and foxtrot with Flavia. But, you know, how wonderful is that? Flavia and I are still together, and we're about to go into London's West End in Midnight Tango, so I'm currently learning something I didn't do on Strictly, which is an Argentine tango.
Well, I'm sure you'll be marvellous.
Well, I hope so, darling. You wanted to say marvellous, darling, then, didn't you? But, of course, your breakfast news now is somewhere between what we started and what it went to, which was dead serious, and now you're down the middle.
Yes, a nice mix.
Warm. But not too serious.
Yes. Now, are you...
And I'm still getting in my ear, you see.
Lovely. Oh, look, here we are.
Go on to the stars
now,
please,
you're an old
Graham.
pro, you're
going to do the stars
I'm
now,
going to
Graham.
introduce you doing the stars. Is that all right?
Yes.
So, now, it's a special treat. We're
Yes.
going to roll the clock back. If it's your birthday today, Russell, can you do, for people watching at home, what they can expect? Can you do their stars of the day?
Yes, well, we would make you all starlets of the day 30 years ago, because that's what it would be. Venus is beautifully positioned today. There's just been a conjunction to Pluto, so there's a kind of intensity there, but there's a lot of passion around. And that connection to Saturn, which is coming up later, is also very good for practical relationships. You know what? If a relationship starts this year, it's likely to last for a very long time to come. And if a partnership based on money is formed over the coming year, then I can assure you it'll be both productive and produce great abundance.
Oh, bring him back. Bring him back.
No more.
Russell, we are loving your jazz hands. Loving the jazz hands.
Oh, well, that's my Strictly hands, but you did get them, of course, on the original breakfast, Charlie.
Absolutely fabulous. Thanks very much.
Thanks for coming back to see us.
Oh, come on, we should have him back every day after.
What time, though? Breakfast Time was the first daily TV show to have as well its own resident fitness expert.
Diana Moran, or the Green Goddess, as she was, of course, known, had the entire country up off their sofas and working out.
So we thought we'd get her in to see if she's still got what it takes.
And Mike is with her just outside our studios now. Morning.
Yeah, good morning. You know what, she definitely has. What a moment this is for breakfast TV, because 30 years on, after it all started on a cold day, Diana, on Waterloo Bridge, here you are again. The green leotard is back, the Green Goddess is back. You look fantastic.
You're very kind. It's a modern version of the green the green leotard and tights, yeah.
Fantastic. We've got a group of volunteers from a local Zumba class. They're going to be following your lead in a moment. But obviously, the secret must be doing this sort of work every day. That's why you look so fantastic.
To be honest, I've been doing this for 35 years, and it's a moderate exercise. It isn't hard and fast. It isn't, you know, strict aerobic. But the exercise plus some fairly decent food along the way, 30 years later, at 73, is not too bad.
And have you any idea the impact you were having at the time? I've got a bit of a confession. I was a student at the University of Winchester. We had a student TV channel called Pulse. Every week, I was your equivalent. I was the black god wearing a black leotard and a funny old mask. It was pretty hideous compared to you, but you were an icon to us all.
Oh, that's lovely for you to say so. Yes, I mean, I did make an impact, and I would walk down a street and there were people sort of doing exercises in front of me. And even now in London, I can go up an escalator and somebody will call across, "Hello, Green Goddess." So it's really quite nice.
Well, escalators then. What was the weirdest place you ever did the workout, the routine?
Well, we were in Aberdeen, up at the Bridge of Don, training the soldiers for the Falklands, for example. We were on naval ships at sea, the QE2, I think it was, in steelworks, all sorts of places.
And your legacy remains, because every Saturday on BBC Breakfast we do a different sporting feature, all designed at getting people off the sofa, following your lead, your original lead.
It's really important to do that, actually. I try and lose the word exercise these days and say activity. Get up off the sofa, do an activity, and if possible, do it with somebody else, because that motivates you to keep doing it.
Absolutely. Now, I've got an excuse. I've got to get back to the studio. I've got 2 minutes to get there, so I'm going to leave everybody, once again, in your capable hands, and we're going to hear those famous words again. Good luck.
So, get up, wake up, and stretch up. Let's get Britain fit. So come on, girls, let's get at it. Let's feel that music, feel the rhythm, feel the rhythm. Stamp it out. Use the arms. That'll help our cardiovascular system. And then I just want you to come towards me for 1, 2, 3, 4. Spot. 2, 3, 4. And forward. 2, 3, 4. And spot. 2, 3, 4. And again, forward. 2, 3, 4. Spot. 2, 3, 4. And back you go. Feet a little bit wider apart, and let's swing the arms. Good. Use the arms, using the whole of the body. Good. And then we're going to start by going over to the side and swing. 1, 2, 3, and over. 1, 2, 3, over. 1, 2, 3, over.
There is only one place to be when the Green Goddess is doing her fitness routine, and that's sat right here.
Well, Linda gets in touch to say, I started my nurse training in January 1983 and remember doing the Green Goddess workouts at the end of a night shift on a children's ward.
Oh, she's absolutely fabulous. Thank you all for all your messages this morning. The one thing that's really clear is the thing that makes this programme is all of you. You're incredibly loyal, and thank you for watching us. You're brilliant.
Wouldn't be the same without you, so thank you for making us Britain's most
Look what we've
popular
got.
breakfast TV programme, and to celebrate, instead of exercising, we've got a bit of cake.
Oh, yes, that is a magnificent cake. Sal, you're going to slice it open?
No, not me. No, too
Someone's
much
got to.
responsibility.
Okay, ready? Should we go from the bottom?
Make a wish.
Happy birthday to everybody who watches. And thank you for watching, all of you.
Cheers.
And can we get a close-up on our likenesses on the top? It looked like something from Trumpton, these whoever they are.
It looks awfully like you, Charlie.
What
And
is
it is, Jenna.
Yeah, that's the best news of the day. It is a chocolate cake.
That's Charlie and Louise. Me and Suzanne.
Can we buy your heads off then later?
I was
It's like
trying
Wendy Miller and Friends.
Here we go. Here, piece of cake, just a small one for
Thank
you
you
to
very much,
start.
Linda, who made the cake, and thank you very much to all of you for watching, and happy birthday to the programme. Happy birthday, everybody. It is a privilege to present and work on.
Absolutely. Have a great
Get back
day.
tomorrow at 6,
yeah.
as ever.
We'll all see you soon. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.